Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to show you everything that I've colored during the month of April 2022, and I would suggest to grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, maybe with a little cookie or a cake, because I've colored in 23 coloring books this month, and in some of them I didn't stick to one page. I did a few more. So it will be quite a lot. So I'm going to dive straight in, and I'm starting off with Johanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder. I have to say, not everything that I've colored this month was a project started from zero. Like in this book, I already did my background, so I just had to color in my object. And maybe you remember this background. I have a video on how I did it. The thing that put me off to color the boat was that I added some golden paint, and I didn't like the look of it on top of the brownish and reddish neo colors I think that I've used. So yeah, but then I threw a lot of glitter on top, and glitter makes everything more nice. So I thought, well, okay, I'm going to finish this off because I really like the background again after putting on some playful glitter on top of the gold that I don't like very much. So I'm not super convinced of the colors that I've used for my boat. I do like the waves though. They are really poppy because of my white gel pen, but overall it's an okay page. It's not too impressive, but it's fairly okay. So that was the first one. Now I have to mention, I haven't put all of my colorings in order that I did them, because I have quite a few Hannah Carlsons to show, and I just grabbed my books of hers and I've put them all together so that it's not a hopping from here to there. So the next book is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not sure who the artist... Oh, there are different artists that drew in this book, and this was also containing a whip that wasn't to my liking at all, and I only had the bottom zone left, and I think that was it. So I've outlined the flames. I added extra yellow on her clothing and her face and her body. I've colored in her hair because she didn't have a hair color at the time. Now, I've never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I'm not sure how this woman should be colored in, but I thought it was quite cool to give her a pinkish hair, and I've added some stickles for extra detail and fun. So, and it's just again like with the Johanna Basford book, an okay page, but not nothing spectacular. But the flames are done with paints, and I quite like how they turned out. Can't complain about that, but I did those back in the day, and I've just added the outlines here and there with the Artistro pens. So yeah, that was this one. And then we are going to take a look at a simple page in Rita Berman's walk through the year, or through the seasons in English, I think it's called. I'm not going to pronounce it in German because I can't speak German, but it won't sound very nice, I think. And the page that I've colored is this one. Oh, I have a crack here. So the background is done with, this is a project started from zero. The background is done with distress inks, the regular ones, the vintage colors. It's like vintage photo there's in, and a yellowish one, and yeah, I really like the burnt effect that I could get with it. So then I did a lot of outlining, of course, on the flowers, and some stickles for the inner parts, and then the border, and the little dots are sparkle pop, very goldish. But I really like the outcome. It's very soft, the flowers are very soft, and it's a bit of vintage looking page. So yeah, I'm very fond of how it turned out. So that was this one. Then I did one in how is this called, my colorful home or something. You also have my colorful town. I think it's Korean. Yeah, I think it's Korean, and I've chosen to do this page with a girl painting, and I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. I did a lot with watercolors. I did this with graphite pencils, I think, this with Albrecht Dürer. Her clothing is also Albrecht Dürer, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is definitely watercolor, but I'm in doubt if I've used the Supracolor Soft or the Albrecht Dürer, but I think I've chosen the Dürer ones. And yeah, it was a nice page to do. The pink wall is gouache, and there are some glittery details on her clothing. And I think I've used, yeah, kind of a metallic paint on the bottle. Oh, and I've used glossy accent on the windows, so they have a nice effect when you touch it. And I really like how the stonework turned out, a bit worn. So yeah, lovely project, but it took quite some time to achieve. Although it feels more like it took quite some time, it was fairly quickly done. But yeah, if I look at it, it's feeling a lot of hard work for days and days, and it wasn't, but yeah, it's strange. So that was this one. Then we have the Cute and Creepy coloring book by Camilla Derrico. And in this one I've played around with paints, and I've chosen to do this one. It's a bit of an experiment with acrylic paints, and I've used some light metallic one on top of the bubble. Now the background were all little I can't think of the word. Pumpkins, little pumpkins. And the head thing was also a pumpkin-like thing, but I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to turn her into a space kitty. And I've covered everything with paints. And on her, I've used some Inktense and some pencil work on top just to make it more vivid. And yeah, it was a very playful page, and I quite like how it turned out. I love that it has this special effect. And I've also added some glitter acrylic in a blue color to not make everything pink and purplish. So yeah, it was a play page. So that was this one. Sorry if I'm giving a lot of that I'm doing this fairly quickly, but 23 books and multiple pictures to show. I don't want to take too much of your time. Time is always precious. So then I've done something in the Very Nice Coloring Book by Ellen Jorecki. And I've chosen to do this little fellow, and it was a little project. with the dandelions highlighted with Sakura Jelly Roll, the clear one. And I did a base layer on the flowers with marker and then went on top with Prismacolor pencils. This little guy is also Prismacolor with a base layer of marker. And the background is Faber-Castell gelatos, iridescent ones, but you can hardly see that on white paper. It's a bit visible here with the yellow, and the blue is also iridescent, but yeah, it's hardly visible. So it's a done page, but it's not something special. It was just a small project after I did something quite huge, but you will see that in the end because it's my very favorite of the month. Then in this book I also had an going to lift my tripod a little bit because it's a big book and I want you to make sure that you can see everything. I also had a whip in this one and I was so upset with how I messed it up back in the day, but now I thought I only had to color in those leaf things and her dress, that I thought, oh well, okay, I'm going to do it. And I've used some metallic paints, some stickles. I redid her jewelry, put stickles on top of it. That wasn't the case back in the day. I've done some stickles on her eyes, played with stickles for a fairy tale look, a playful fairy tale look, and I'm still not a big fan of it, but it's okay. It's done and it's quite okay. So yeah, don't like that color either. It was a wrong choice back in the day, but yeah, I still make some wrong choices, just like on this first page. Wanted to play around with my metallic watercolors because my good friend Frances, Coloring F on YouTube, she enabled me to order some new paints. Unfortunately they were cancelled due to the healthy issues in China, because I ordered them on AliExpress, because Etsy is for me too expensive, unfortunately, in shipping and taxes. It's really ridiculous. I would have to pay, I think it was around 30 euros for 2 or 3 little paints, and it was just too much. So I've ordered on AliExpress, but yeah, due to the situation over there, they weren't able to ship, and so yeah, the orders were cancelled. But yeah, I still have the Paul Rubens ones. I have another cheaper glitter paint set, so I've picked those up again, and I decided to do the page with those. So it was, yeah, lovely to work on. The color of the blue is a bit too poppy, and in the first place her dress was yellow, but it was too poppy as well, so I went over it with another color, and it doesn't match the rest of the page, but yeah, it's quite okay. And I do like the shimmering details of the tree, and that was, yeah, the thing that I was going for. So and it's nice that I have an extra page done in this book. It's quite an intimidating one, I must say. So okay, moving on. Still a lot to go. In the Magic Hour by Karolina Kubikowska, I did a page in almost only paints, and it was a lot of fun to do, but it's quite a dark page. I don't know what it is, but I always use quite dark colors for this book. As you can see, the background was I think a lot of watercolor, and then I went over it with a wash of acrylic paint to make it more dreamy and foggy. And then I did color her skin with pencils, but I think it's not a fox, but a little wolf, I'm guessing, and her hair. And the leaves here are all done with watercolor, and I'm super happy with how her hair turned out. It was the first time that I tried to paint hair, and I'm super excited that I could achieve all the highlights. I did a base layer of a light orange color and then went on top with browner and darker color of orange. So yeah, and even the fur of that little playful wolf thing, I think it's a wolf, I'm not sure, but I couldn't do him red because she already had some reddish hair, so if it's a fox, yeah, then it's a shame that I did him in another color, but still it was nice to paint some fur. It's not the best fur in the world, I think, but for a first time I couldn't complain. And so the leaves are also a bit playful. So yeah, that was I really was in love with her hair. Fun project. Really liked working on that one. And then okay. Next up, we are going to enter the how do you call it? I can't think of the word. Again, I can't think of the word. Okay, the combined books, I shall call it combined. So I'm starting off with the Hannah Lynn pictures that I did this month. And this one was finished yesterday. This little mermaid had a lot of work on her hair. She has, I was in my glitter paint phase, so I've given her a metallic face, given her a metallic bikini and a hair dress thing. Her tail is also metallic paint and stickles. I did mess her tail up a bit because I've used a cheap glitter glue for her tail, and yeah, it's not that nice. I do like the bubbles. They are looking a bit of whitish in the center, but if you move the page they turn blue. So she has some stickles on her necklace, stickles on her earrings, and I really like her skin color. That was done with Castle Art pencils. Yeah, a base layer of markers, of course. I always do my base layers of markers in the Hannah Lynn books. So, and the background is are again the gelatos, the iridescent gelatos, but yeah, the iridescence effect isn't noticeable, but I will try them out on black paper soonish. So yeah, so that was the last one that I did from Hannah Lynn. The very first one, this was my first page for the month, and it's done in the Whimsy Girls Through the Decades. That was a gifted book by my lovely friend Benny. And I've done this little lady working at home or just relaxing at home with her cat. And I decided to, even in the beginning of the month, I decided to do a lot with metallic paints. Her cushions, they could be satin. Her laptop is a fancy one. Look at that shimmer in pink. And yeah, this was also a whip. I did color in her skin and her hair a few months ago, but then when I took a look at the bed, and this has some glossy accents as well, you can see it here. When I did look at her back in the day and seeing all those blankets and those cushions, I ran away. But yeah, finally I decided to pick her up again and finish it. So her jeans and the blouse are done with the graphitin pencils. Didn't do any shading extra. It was nice that it was looking a bit cozy and yeah, relaxing. So I'm quite pleased with how this one turned out. And then to another, and the last Hannah Lynn book, Hannah Lynn page for this month is in the Steampunk Darlings coloring book. I really like this one. Lovely pictures in it. And I've worked on this little lady. The first time that I've done a Hannah Lynn lady with a nose, I had to adapt on the look of it, because I always make a little marker on her nose and I don't do anything shady-ish besides her eyes. But yeah, she has a lot of stickles going on and some metallic details. Yeah, really, Francis really did my love for metallic paints revive again, I must say. So we talk quite a lot, almost every day, I think. No, it is every day. If I'm not hearing her or she doesn't hear me, we check in, everything okay, and yeah, it's really lovely. So she has become a really good friend. So make sure to take a look at her channel as well, because she's really lovely, great colorist. Wow, she has some beautiful ideas to do pages, and yeah, it's really nice to be able to share my work via Messenger with her, and we update each other on how things are going with our pages and stuff. So very lovely. Had a nice time doing this. Her trousers are Supra colors with a little bit of shading of the Pablo pencils, but not much. I really wanted to keep it yeah, quite simple, and it was popping like I wanted it to pop when I worked on it. So yeah, very happy with how she turned out. And I'm going to see, this one wasn't so great, but yeah, here it's hardly visible, the nose that I normally do, but I only do a little stripe, and now I did a real nose. So yeah, it was a bit different. Now we're diving into the Fabiana Atanasio books, and I did one in Beauty and the Beast. I was inspired by Frances again, because she did this page, and I thought, oh well, this is quite a small project, so I can do it fairly quickly. And it was fairly quickly done indeed. So especially because I've covered up all the little details in her dress with gouache. Also did some gouache paint on her cape. It's a bit metallic-y looking, but not super hard. And I really like that plushy effect here on her cape. This is better because I always have to zoom in and out manually. And I've used some glitters on the side again to make it dreamy, and of course glitter behind her to give it an extra dimension. So, and I was also not only in a metallic phase, I was also in a white gel pen phase this month. Whoa. I could throw away one of my Signal Ball white gel pens because it was used up until the very end. Really, wow. Not because of one project, of course, but I've used quite a lot. And I do like that I've used two different shades of paint on the border as well. A goldish brownish look and a greenish one. So, and that paper, it's lovely when you put water on it. The Fabiana books are really nice sound, they have a nice sound if you work with water. So yeah. And then in another Fabiana book, I've colored in Dorothy, and here only the background was done for a little bit. It was this one. The background was done with coffee because at the time, back in the day, I didn't have inks, and so I dabbled around with coffee, and she wasn't colored in, and only a few of the flowers and little details were colored in with white gel pen. And I thought, oh well, when I was flipping through this book, I thought, oh well, maybe I can continue it. So a lot of white gel pen work. The flowers have some glittery details in the front. And of course she has some stickles on her shoes and on her dress. I've used some paints again to cover up every detail that I wouldn't color in. She has stickles in her hair, on the ribbons. And this hair I've colored in with the Jorecki 10 pencils. They really work very nice on this paper. So, and it's always so nice to see matching pages or neighbor pages, even if they look quite different from each other. Two pages colored in next to each other is so nice to see, and yeah. But here it's extra special because of the same background that I did, except I didn't use the little dots that I did here. On this one it was quite sober, but it's perfectly as it is. I really like how it turned out, and yeah, glad I could work with it. But after all these flowers, I really had to take a break from white outlining. So yes, up to the next one. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. The next one is the Ink House. This was a gift by my lovely friend Color and Chat with Sammy for my birthday from I think 2 years ago, and it's such a beautiful book, but I was always so scared to color in it, but I decided to do it now anyway. So I've colored Huxley, and it was a fairly simple project, although I hated doing the chair. I was so terrified to mess it up because of all the little details, but in the end I think it turned out quite okay. Huxley himself has a bit of a beige color, but it's not quite visible. The rest is done with supracolors. The shoes are done with pencil, and then I've used some glitter thing out of a little pot to give it a background that was a bit different from something else, and it's quite playful, and I thought it suited the little hedgehog. So yeah, I'm glad that I've finished a project. I already did one a while ago with the octopus here, but now I've done Huxley, and it was very nice. The paper is so nice, really lovely book. So, and then the Ink House book was the start of my hardback coloring books. So it's only hardback now that you will be seeing. So the next picture that we are going to take a look at is from the Grand Classique Art Deco, second volume, from Hatchet Heroes. It was also a gift from Janice. I don't know if it was for my birthday or for another occasion that I can't remember anymore, but I've decided to color in this page. And just like you are seeing here on this page with every detail, there were also details here, and I didn't want to do anything with those, so I've painted the background with a bluish acrylic paint and then dabbled with white acrylic paint so that it looked like waves from the sea. And yeah, I was really happy with how Ariel turned out. I think I've used Prismacolors on her, except for her hair, that was Supracolors. And then all the bubbles. I'm going to take a look that I can hold my book in a better way and that I can refocus. They are done all in metallic colors. Some glitter gel pens here and there, but the main thing on this page are metallic watercolors. I was really in a metallic and a shimmery phase. Thank you, Francis, again. But it was super nice, because otherwise I wouldn't have started this page in ages, and now it's done and I really, really love how it turned out. It's a beautiful book. Beautiful paper, and yeah, I have a little bit of bleed through, but not much, and it's not an issue because it's a title page. But had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to think of other methods to be creative for not coloring all these details, but we will see how it goes. But I'm very, very happy with this page. Was fairly quickly done, I must say. I was, yeah. For all the bubble work, it was quite quickly done. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites of this month. The next Disney one is from the Vitro coloring book, and now I'm going to make my camera a bit towards the end. I did one project in this one, and this book is really frightening me, but yeah, I also think it's so beautiful, so I decided to go for it anyway, and I've ordered book 2 that arrived this afternoon. So, and I'm not going to be able to make it all in frame, but I will move the book so that you can see a bit better. I did, Francis told me these 2 were from Fantasia. I've never watched the movie. That's also my problem with Disney books. I've seen the classics, Cinderella, Snow White, you name it, but the, yeah, I've watched so many, there are so many movies that I didn't watch, so yeah. And I've played around again with metal paint, metallic colors, and I was really nervous the day that I was painting this border. So I did the corners or the places that I didn't like, that were messed up in for my feeling. I've put some stickles on the sides. So, and the pink stickles were desperately no, on purpose done on purpose. So yeah, and that was that one for Disney. Now we're going to take a look at Maria Trolle, and I did one in Botanicum for Easter, and I've posted this page on Instagram. So I did this little Easter bunny, had a lot of fun working on him. The background is the gelatos by Faber-Castell. The pencil work, I can't remember what I've used. But yeah, I really like how this little nest turned out, and the eggs, again with outline, white outlining. Flowers with white outlining here, yeah. But I wanted to give it a fresh look, a poppy look, a fresh look for Easter, and yeah, I think I've succeeded. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Soft, very soft in color, so yeah, very happy with this page. And I don't think I've done another one in here. This was the only one, I think, in Botanicum. Yeah. Then we have Flora and Fauna. And I can't remember what I did in this one. What did I do on this one? Oh yes, I did this one. And I really like my trees and the berries. And I like my mushrooms. I like my little Huxley. But I did like the things here on the bottom. They were green with a pastel pink color, these little things. But then I decided to make the other plants in pink, and it didn't fit the page. But yeah, I couldn't erase it anymore with my eraser. But yeah, unfortunately. But my trees, oh, I love them. A lot of white signal work again. I love the berries. Wow. So it's part. I'm really proud for the most part, but I don't like these. They are too poppy for the page. So yeah, and the cup that he's sitting in is a paint with effect. So background was done with neo colors. So yeah, partly satisfied, partly but yeah, well. And then we are diving into the Hannah Carlson books. Starting off with Soulmates, and I've done this lady on the side, and I've used colors that I normally wouldn't for such a page, like a blue border in metallic paint. I did use some stickles for the magical effect, but for the border, the purple and the bluish tones, I wouldn't normally use them, but I couldn't remember which colors that I've used on this page, and I thought, oh well, I will go for something completely different, and so I did. And I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. It's not my favorite, but again, it's the neighbors are done. And it's from February 2020, and this is 2 years and 2 months later. So yeah, I must say I prefer this side more than this one, but yeah, it's quite okay. And that was it, I think, in Soulmates, because I did quite a few from Hannah, so I have to double check that I'm not missing something. No, I'm not missing something. This one was an oldie. No. Okay, moving on. Seasons coloring book by Hannah Carlson. This one was a disaster project. I was beginning. Now it isn't a disaster project. I really like how I've created this, but I had started painting some of the flowers with a dark purplish paint, just like the flower on this side. But this is with pencil or watercolored pencil, and this was with acrylic paint, and it was really ugly looking. And so I decided to go on top of every flower with watercolor paint by Kuretake, and once that was done, it was so super shiny, and it was ugly. But I wanted to cover up these darker parts, and then afterwards I've grabbed some acrylic paint and went on top of every flower, and this was the result it gave me. The background is also a mixture of different paints, and I can't even remember what I did because the original background was also super ugly, but I like the effect it gave me, those paints. It's cracked here and there. I will show you. Like here, it's really cracked, but yeah, I don't know. It's giving it a special effect. It's really looking like a painting now here. So and I love my little insects with stickles and glitter gel pen. The leaves are also with paints, done with paints. Yeah, I really like the outcome of this one. It doesn't match this page, but yeah, okay. It is nice that 2 neighbor pages are done. And I don't think I've done anything else in this one. Going to double check. Nope. Now, we're almost at the end. In the jewelry box, I did 3, I think I've done the most work in this book this month. Although the most pages, not the most work. The most work is in the last book that I'm going to show. I've done this one. Frances was doing a background with watercolors, so she wetted her page and then made stains with watercolor paint. And so I really was inspired to do something similar. And I've chosen this page because, yeah, normally I'm not into coloring in snakes, but I thought, oh well, that background could be playful or nice for such a page. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did get some bleed through, I think. Yeah, I have some ugly bleed through here, but I hope I will be able to solve that sooner or later. But yeah, I still think it's worth it because I really like how this page turned out. Again, a lot of white gel pen and a lot of metallic paint, which is only visible when I flip with the book. But yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out. So moving on to the next page, I'm going to show you this as the last one. The next project was also with a watercolor background, and it was this one. So wetted the page and then went on top with paints, and now I've done it all with metallic paints with a very cheap set bought in my favorite discounter. It's looking like this. So it's not even €1, I think that it's costing. So and the butterflies are colored in with only 3 colors of the Holbein pencils. I just used them in different shadings and different patterns, and so they look all quite different, but I've always used the same colors. So I like how it turned out. Now I'm going to take a look if I had bleed through on this page. Oh no, it's not visible anymore because this was done way before. It was last year, so no problems at all with this one, except I have some bleed through from the other side here and there, but on the opposite way there's no trouble. And then this is one of my favorites because before we are going to my most favorite ones, is this one in the Hannah Carlson book. I did a tutorial on how I do my glowy leaves and glowy stones. So I'm super happy with how it turned out, and there was a lovely lady who mailed me her work on the same page, also with the technique of the glowing stones and the glowing birds. She did her leaves a little bit on another, she didn't outline all her leaves, but it was looking fantastic. It was in blues, done in blues. She copied my birds because she liked how I did those, so that was very nice. And her stonework here was also blue, so it was really amazing looking. It's always so lovely that people mail them their work by things that I could inspire them for. So it was super lovely to see. So yeah, and also again stickles on the birds, on the little flowers here, on the outlining here to give it a magical effect. And the backgrounds are distress inks, oxides, and then I wanted to add some extra neo colors on top, the bluish dots here, and then because of the water tank brush I got all these little details, and I thought, okay, something different. So yeah, very happy with how this turned out. Really like this one. But now my pièce de résistance is in Daydreams, an oldish book, my very first Hannah Carlson book together with Summer Nights, and I'm going to show you a page that I did back in 2017 for comparison reasons. So this is my old work, and I think it's nice to show you where I come from and what I'm able to do now without any lessons, without any teaching things at a school, at an art school. It's just my own progress, getting inspiration from different people. Of course, if I see some tutorials, I always learn a thing or two, but it's not like I'm doing art school. It's just, I want to support everyone. I want to support everyone who is starting with coloring, for believing in yourself, and know that the more that you will be coloring, the more progress you will make, and believe me, you will see an evolution in your coloring. It's yeah. So you ready? I can't believe that I did this double page spread. So take a look at this face, and these are the faces I'm doing 5 years after. I must say I'm so proud. I can't believe I did them. I think this lady is my favorite, although I really liked working on her too. I'm super happy with how her blonde hair turned out. But I think I've colored her first, and then I hopped over on the other page. So I started with my background using watercolor paint, and then at first I was thinking by doing this background in a bluish color and this in a reddish one, but on the other hand I thought, no, I'm going to make them just the same, and I'm coloring in my ladies on a different note with other headwear, with another eye color, with other hair colors. So yeah, super happy with how these turned out. Metallic paints again, stickles in the hair for, yeah, she is festive looking. Oh, and I did, normally the bodies go until the bottom of the page with her as well, but I couldn't be bothered to color all this with extra skin. It was big enough as it was, so I've covered the lines with my paint as much as I could. I've used some glitter effects everywhere. Her headwear is also metallic paints. She also has stickles in her hair to make it festive. The skin is done with Holbein. I did outline her face, but the lines are coming through it again. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter. So I'm super happy with how they turned out. So, and it's 5 years of coloring experience by teaching myself some things. So yeah, this is really, if I could frame them, I would. But I'm going to leave them in the book because it's super nice to go and take a look at my older pictures and then seeing those two. I really was afraid to start those, but I had ordered Grains of Gold by Hannah Carlson, and I knew that they were in that book as well. So if I would mess up one of them in this book, I could always try another time in Grains of Gold. But yeah, I can leave them for now because I couldn't think of another way to color them in now. So they are safe in the Grains of Gold book for now. I'm super happy with this result, and keep believing in yourself, keep believing in your talent. We all learn, you have to give yourself time. I'm still learning every day. I do feel that I have trouble by thinking about nice backgrounds. I think I'm doing always the same things. So I have to come out of my comfort zone and think out of the box, I think, for some things. But we will see how that goes. But for now, I think this background is perfect. Really like how it turned out. So, okay, this was the last page to show. We are 50 minutes in, almost 52. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I hope you had a nice cup of tea or coffee, you had a nice cookie or something else that you like, a nice chocolate maybe. And I hope I will see you soon on a new video. I really hope you've liked my pages for April. Thank you very much again for all the people that are messaging me via email or on the comments down below here on YouTube. It's really supportive. It gives me a boost to keep on coloring. It's so nice to read all those positive comments. I really try to answer as soon as I can. So thank you very, very much for your lovely support, and I wish you all the very best, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.